This is also meant to be a resource for just introducing folks to different issue areas, so providing some background information on why different issue areas matter in the first place, as well as the kinds of policies and laws that are most useful for addressing those issues. And then finally, we've got some deep dives on different issues. Like I think you'll see we've got one on like lead service line replacement, and specifically the Michigan lead and copper rule, interviews with advocates on how they accomplished their wins, that sort of thing. So going a bit deeper in certain areas of the country and on specific issues. So this is the database that I referenced. Like I said, you can filter by state, if you know the specific policy name, if you're interested in things that were passed in a certain time period, or just the policy focus, whether it's access or safety or affordability. This is what the landing page looks like right now. So it's navigable by these bars on the right. And then as you can see here, we do have already a form set up if you have a policy that you think should be spotlighted, whether that falls into the drinking water category or not. We would love to hear from you. So there's just a pretty simple, straightforward, very brief Google form there. You can also reach out to myself or Erin directly, something you want to talk more about. But like I said, we'll provide plenty of time for questions and discussion after our walkthrough. And then this is the additional resources piece that I was discussing just a minute ago, of just trying to compile additional resources that capture additional information that's not included on the State Policy Hub, and trying to really make this, like I said, a one-stop shop for thinking about state water policy, and providing advocates with the resources and information that they need to accomplish their wins. Like I said, we're also, River Network is a network organization, so we do have a big emphasis on spotlighting members of our network who have been behind the scenes and pivotal to accomplishing these water wins and state policy wins. And I think it's just a really nice way to create broader connectivity and know who to reach out to, so that members of our network are working together, and you have a good idea of who to reach out to if you have questions about implementing something similar in your state. And then these are the deep dives that I was referencing, which again spotlights members of our networks, as well as going deeper on the advocacy strategy, the language that was used, that sort of thing. So meant to be, again, a resource for advocates. And then we'll get into this in a second, but just thinking about where we're going next with the Policy Hub. Like I said, we're focusing on drinking water. We'll talk a little bit about our next kind of issue area focus, but would love feedback from you all about what else we can do with this resource to make it more accessible and useful for water protectors and advocates. So with that, I'm going to stop my share and hand it over to Erin to give us a more detailed walkthrough and navigation of the Policy Hub.
Thanks, Sheyda, and thank you all for joining us. I just want to say that since we are a smaller group, if you have questions along the way, feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand, but we'll also address questions at the end. So I'm going to share my screen. And, sorry, can you see this? No, you're seeing the document, okay. Sorry, guys. You see the website? Okay. So this is the landing page for the State Policy Hub, River Network's website. If you go to Connect and Learn State Policy Hub, drops down. I think it's also on our main page at the moment. So easy to find. As Sheyda explained, we have our current topics are access, affordability, lead, PFAS, regionalization and consolidation, as well as water data access and availability. And I will be going through this in just a minute, but I just want to scroll down here to our database, which you do have to scroll down a little ways to get to the actual database. I just want to reiterate that these are like really exemplary policies or a sort of a curated list of policies that we have. They are not by any means comprehensive. Not all states are currently represented in the hub, but these are meant to be just sort of shiny examples that you can look towards. So there is different categories along the top: the state, policy name, the date that it was implemented or went into effect, the agencies that are responsible for implementing it, as well as short descriptions and an actual link to the policy language. Sometimes if there's information on who was supporting the legislation, we'll have those group names in here, as well as links to other press releases or additional resources. There's a search bar, so if I wanted to look up Illinois and see what's going on in Illinois, these results come up. There's a few different ones. Last year, Illinois passed the Lead Service Line Replacement and Notification Act. So we can see the name of it here. It actually just went into effect a couple of weeks ago. And then these are the agencies that are going to be responsible for implementing it. And again, you can click this to go to the actual bill language. I also want to point out that if you click on Illinois, it comes up with this page of the state itself. All the drinking water policies that we have up here right now are included on this page specific to the state, with a bit more detail beyond what's shown in that database table of like what's inside of each of the bills. And again, they're all linked. So that's kind of what's in the database itself. You can search again by state or by policy focus and play around with that. If we go back up here to explore the hub, these all lead to sort of an introduction to the topic. So if we go to lead, there's sort of an introduction, like what is the importance of understanding how lead affects our drinking water. And then we have pulled some prime examples. These all happen to be in the Midwest, of states' actions around reducing lead levels in drinking water, especially through the replacement of lead service lines. So these again are just like quick snapshots. And then where we have interviews with folks related to a topic, they're included in here as lessons from the network with key quotes. This is Nick Leonard of the Great Lakes Environmental Law Center. If you click on this, it'll take you to the full interview that you can read with Nick to talk about strategies for advocating for lead and copper rule changes, as well as what they've been working on to make sure that it's implemented. Going back up here, the deep dives are then going into a specific state, introducing what the background is. I'm sure, as you all know, in Michigan, of course, Flint is infamous for its water crisis related to lead. So this provides some context to what created the state deciding to make changes to its lead and copper rule. And then it goes into key policy language that actually exists within the rule. If you all have ever looked at a new piece of legislation or rulemaking, it can be really, really long. So we try to pull out really key aspects of the language that you may want to be inspired by in your own state. It's sort of broken up by topic. And then we move into advocacy and implementation efforts, because of course, passing legislation is just the first step. And so again, this is featuring background information, including some insights by folks that we've interviewed. And then looking ahead, like how is the funding for lead service line replacement going? So these are, and then there's another one for Illinois below it. But these really are just meant to be complementary to one another, the deep dives, the introductions, as well as the database, so that you can find a significant amount of information on a given topic. And again, if you have ideas or if you think, oh, my state has a really good example, it's not on here, please fill out this form that we have up here to give us feedback, because we're constantly looking to improve the hub. Sheyda shared this on her slide, but also the a lot of resources and other trackers and compendiums are available. So we want to highlight the good work of other organizations here as well. So those are listed there.